Building a business isn't easy. And I think where a lot of people go wrong is they feel like the more they do, the more they're going to earn. But if your business isn't making money at a smaller stage, it's going to probably be making even less when it gets bigger. So the time to really understand your business and know where it's making money and what its bottlenecks are is now, and while it's at its smallest. And one of the things I've learned is it's very easy to take on contracts. It's very easy to take on types of work, and it's very easy to get into the trap of trying to win everything. But all you do by doing that is become a busy fool. Now, for me and my business, when things started to really change for me is when I started to really understand my overheads. When I started to actually know what things cost me. So it's so easy for you to look at your business and know what you're turning over and, feel like you're making money or feel like you're not making money. But ultimately, you need to be knowing the numbers. You need to know in detail exactly what you're making. Now, the easiest way to do this, and it's such a simple formula, first, to work out your overheads that not a lot of people do. So what you need to do is you need to work out how many men you've got in your business. So if you have 10 men, is it split into 3 gangs? Okay. And if so, once you've got that, there's 2 brackets that you need to understand. Okay. You've got your business overheads, right? So that is everything. So as soon as you walk into the yard in the morning, or as soon as you walk into your office, or whatever your setup is, your lockup, wherever you're at in your business, you have a base where everything starts from. It might be tools out your mum's garage. It might be anything. We started from that, and then we've got this now. But the only way you're going to go from here to here is by understanding this process and understanding exactly what your overheads are. So you've got 2 boxes, So the first one here is your labour, okay? And the second one is all your running costs, right? So that's everything. The minute you walk in the morning, you turn the lights on, Everything in there that you need to run, and that goes for your insurance, your fuel, vehicles, tools, absolutely everything, Your rent, anything that you have, that needs to be tallied up, okay? So if that amounts to £20,000, okay, what you need to do is divide that across each man. So if you've got £20,000 per month as an overhead, you need to spread that across 20 working days, 5 working days in a week. So we times that by 4, that's 20. So if our overhead is £20,000, we divide that by 20 working days, and then we split that cost across 10 men. So you now know what each man actually costs you. Okay. So once you've got that, you actually now know exactly what it costs you to run a day. Then you start to dictate your margin. So you've now got your business overhead, you've got your running costs, you know exactly what each man costs you, because you used to think before that your man cost you £250 a day, and in your business overheads are just something that exists in mid-air, but you don't actually know what it correlates to in terms of one man. But actually it is. Each man has to cover the business overheads. So now you've got your 20 grand overhead, divided by 20 days, okay? So that basically works out £1,000, and then you've got that £1,000 to divide. It's £1,000 a day to contribute to the overheads, and you've got 10 men. So it's an extra £100 a man, That's just for you to break even. So now, you now know that each man really costs you £350 a day, By the time you paid him, you paid his tax, and the business overheads, with a little bit in there, a little bit of a buffer, you're about £350 a day per man, to run, and that's at cost. Now, once you've got that, you can then start to see, if you're going to charge for day works, if you've got men that are going on a day work and you're trying to put them in at £400, really, you're only off that gang. If you've got 3 men in a gang, you're only making £150 a day, It's not enough, is it? So you can look at that, and really you want to be probably doing a minimum of double that for that gang, So once you start to understand what your men cost you, what the business costs you, what your overheads are, you've actually got a clear picture. You've got a solid foundation now. And then you can start to look at your rates. So you can start to look at, what can we actually charge here? What do I need to be charging? Or within that, if this is all I can, if this is the max I can charge for this, it's a regular client, you know, they might have underpriced it and missed something, you want to stay in there. So you do a deal with them to carry on and keep your foot in the door. You come down in your price a little bit, but you now need to work backwards and say, right, cool, what do the boys need to do for me to make money in this? I need to maintain a 50% margin or 40% margin. What do I need the boys to be doing in a day to ensure that happens? And that's where, once you start to have that, you start to control that margin, things start to really change. Now, once you've got this as bread and butter, you've got it there in writing, you put it into software. Yeah, so you've now got a live tracking device that understands the business overheads, understands your margin, what you need to be making. Once you have it in a software that tracks absolutely everything, you can log on each day and you can see, yeah? And listen, as a business owner, I don't do this. I'm in my office right now. This isn't my desk. This is Tracy. This is my PA's desk. Tracy, who basically runs everything for me. She tracks the software, you know. But what that means for me is I can be out there doing business, doing deals, you know, doing everything that makes the business grow, makes it profitable. I do all the marketing, you know. And there's so much that's come off that, yeah. But you have to have these systems in place, and you have to understand your overheads. You can't just keep it in your head. It doesn't need to be. There's so much value in just sitting down and working out what your business actually costs. Yeah, what it costs you every single day, what your man costs you, what each man costs you. Because you might look at that and think, wow, I've just taken on, if you're a scaffolder, say, a solar project. Yeah, everyone knows in scaffolding, the solar projects, there's no money in them. Yeah, I don't touch them because you can't make money off them. Commercial ones, brilliant. Yeah, other solar projects, there's no money in them. Yeah, the domestic stuff, you get there, there's a problem. You know, you need, and this is the same in any construction business, you need your men doing the work the minute they get on site. Yeah? And that is where people lose so much money, is they're not organised. The organising is done, yeah, really, latest the night before, yeah, and your boys need a concrete plan from you, yeah, or from your contracts manager, or from whatever member it is of your team that sorts the work, okay? And they need to be getting the information to the foreman of exactly what needs to be done. Yeah, if there's any obstacles there, if there's anything they're going to come across, yeah, they have to know, because you might have everything logged. You might know what your overhead is. You might know what things are costing you and what needs to be done in a day. But if you've then not actually made that happen, you're going to be losing money. You know, you're going to be losing man hours. You're going to be losing time, and that's all we've got. You know, is the only thing you have as a construction business really. Your bread and butter, making money, is man hours on site. It is everything. So that's why you've got to understand what can be done within a day, you know, and what should be done within a day, and ultimately what you should be charging for that, because it's all about your margin. But the only way you can dictate your margin is first by understanding the overhead. Yeah. So it's just such an easy formula to make your business profitable, or to see why it's not profitable, where you're losing money. Yeah. Have a look at the overhead. Yeah, the formula I told you earlier, the formula is the same. It is so easy. What does each man cost you every day? Okay, what are they going to be doing every day? Yeah, what does that equate to? Cool, but have I got to go back as well? So you need to allow for that as well, you know. But it's so simple. It's such a simple, easy formula to understand your overhead and then start to dictate your margin. And if you can do that, your business will be in profit. You know, there's no secret to this. It's just numbers. That's all business is. It's numbers, systems, and people. Yeah. Now you need to understand the numbers, have the system in place that makes it possible, and then the people that will actually carry out the work, the right people. Yeah. If you can do all of these things, you will have a profitable business, and longevity will serve you well. But again, it comes down to software. Software. It's such an easy way of just tracking everything, you know, and then by that time you've then got a log of absolutely everything that makes things so simple, and it will change absolutely everything in your business. You know, you can't keep it all up here. It's not possible. There's too much going on. There's too many moving parts of the business. Yeah. So we get it all down here. We start to understand exactly what things cost, and then from there we can start to dictate where we need to go.